Hi guys, welcome back. Week 6, Hannah B. It's Wednesday again. I know, I'm sorry. I don't know how this keeps happening. Just please don't hate me. So in a quick summary, this episode had me feeling so excited. The beginning of it, the first half was like so intense and intriguing. And then the end of the episode happened and it was a total buzzkill. It was literally like watching paint dry. But let's get to the good stuff. So again, we start this show with the end of the previous show. We find out Hannah does not give Luke P the rose. And again, since it was technically the same day, I still have my defensive feelings about Luke. I just feel bad for him because it's like, it's sad that this is their one-on-one. Like this is his one shot. So it's just sad that that has to be a deciding factor in whether or not it works out with Hannah. Everybody has like bad days with people sometimes. I know this is like blown up. I should just be quiet. But I can understand, like he said that he froze up. It's gotta be uncomfortable. Like I said before, he's constantly getting just ripped apart by everybody. But also, if we're talking situational, he is being compared to 29 other guys. So I would be afraid that one wrong move would end it for me. You know, if you're just dating one guy, there's like a little bit of leeway. He doesn't get any of that. Nobody does. Actually, he does get a little bit of leeway because, wow, is she giving him like chance after chance? Am I right? But anyway, it's not an ideal situation to grow a relationship. And here I am, I almost went on the show, but whatever. But Luke ends up taking ownership of the fact that he kind of ruined the whole date, but she still sends him home. And his exit was so sad. They did such a great job with the music and just like the dramatic walk away in the dark, and he was just looked genuinely upset. I felt bad. I know I used to hate him. I don't anymore. I've got a little bit of heart for Luke. But then he pulls a Colton and says he's going to fight for her. And I'm kind of thinking this could be a good thing because, I mean, ultimately she does keep him around. So maybe this is what he needed to kind of humble himself, you know, and realize that, oh, maybe I really don't have it all in the bag because I almost went home tonight. Then they're talking and he says he wants to scream. So Hannah's like, well, just scream. So then he like sort of starts screaming. Oh God, I got so uncomfortable. It was like so forced. Like he was doing it because he had to at that point. I'm really sorry about how much I talk with my hands. But I do think it's great that he was able to come back and kind of like swallow his pride a little bit. I mean, you're kind of setting yourself up for some serious embarrassment if you're trying to win this girl back after she broke up with you on live television. Not live, but television. Maybe you're also trying to redeem yourself. Like, I don't know. I do have to say though, Hannah put up a good fight for a while. But I think once Luke said to her, I genuinely want to marry you, you could see it in her eyes. That was all she needed to hear. I think that's what secured him right back in there. He's back. Then we cut to the guys and they're all talking about how great it's going to be when Luke doesn't come home. And they trust Hannah to not keep him around. And then Luke walks through the door. So many uncomfortable moments in this season. Those are my favorite. But everyone's mad again. They're just showing everyone mad. But then they shoot to a clip of Tyler C. and that's all I can think about is how much I love him. But then Garrett, this guy. Let me start by saying you are not his dad. And why do you keep telling him to be a man? Just be a man about it. About what? He came home and told you guys what happened on the date. In fact, he probably should be a little embarrassed. I think that's kind of manly to be able to tell everybody that. Man, I'm sorry. I'm defending Luke a lot, but I feel like I have to, especially with Garrett. Then we see a quick shot of Luke praying at church. And I thought that these guys like weren't allowed to go anywhere. I thought they had to stay in their rooms or in their hotel. Maybe not for church. So all of that was such a debacle, took up so much time that I didn't even realize. Like, we haven't even had a date yet, and we're just now getting to the cocktail party. If you notice at the beginning of that, they interview Tyler, and I'm sure that they were really trying to push it on him to talk about Luke P, but he doesn't say a word about him. Not a single thing. He's just a stand-up guy. Don't like the cropped pants, though. Then Hannah comes out in that really pretty white dress. I really liked that dress. And then Mike's like undressing her with his eyes. Hannah she was sparkling inside and out. I felt like it was going to be just a great night until she talked to Garrett. So first of all, her conversation with him started out great. Everything was going fine. And at the end of it, he feels the need. Why he feels the need, I don't know. Probably because he's Luke's dad. He needs to check in with Hannah and be sure that Luke stuck to his word, that he wouldn't talk bad about any of the other guys. Like, get out of here and mind your own business. I was thinking, oh, good, Garrett, you didn't bring up Luke at all. And then he just has to stick it to her right at the end. And then sweet little Connor comes over and wants to talk to Hannah. And Hannah's kissing Garrett. And it's uncomfortable again. Why does everybody walk in on her kissing people? So Garrett exits the conversation, goes right into the room with all the guys, and immediately approaches Luke. He has to call him out because Hannah said that he did mention a couple people. Didn't say that he said anything bad, nothing like that. And with that, I just officially am off the Garrett train. Like, jump off real quick. And he even says, I asked you not to mention any of us. I asked you, Luke. It's not up to you, buddy. So that starts a whole giant argument. And poor Connor, the only purely innocent guy in all of this, like, he's just an angel. He gets interrupted because we have a bunch of just insecure, immature little boys. Thank goodness Connor got the rose because that was not fair for him. And props to Hannah for eavesdropping on those guys because that is how you find stuff out. I would have done the same thing. Just also want to mention that while all of these guys are just bickering back and forth, Tyler and Peter, they just stay right out of it. In fact, they are the two guys that were like, come on, let's cut the crap here. This is ridiculous. But Hannah comes out and she just addresses everything like the strong, bold woman that she is. And she just shoots everyone down. She stinking obliterates the argument that Luke P is talking bad about other people. In fact, she says, I brought it up to him. That was why he was talking about other people. I asked him to. And so then everybody like cowers down, you know. And then Luke P's feeling, got it. So then Luke P, of course, is feeling good about himself. But then she just shuts Luke P up with one swift swipe of the hand. She was like the all-powerful queen of men. Do not mess with me. Dead. I just need to add in there that I understand the frustrations from both sides. I like to be a compassionate person, so I try to understand both sides, and I get it. But now I'm thinking that like the majority of the guys are even more frustrated now that Luke is being defended by Hannah. That can't feel good. But Garrett chimes in again. Sure he does. And says, it's not any of our business to go into detail. Oh, okay. So now you realize that it's not your business? You're the one that asked about it and asked for detail. These guys are seriously more focused on their relationship with Luke than their relationship with Hannah. And Hannah's final words in that conversation just completely summed up basically all of my recaps. She told them to let her figure things out for herself, which is exactly what she should do. Don't be a little bug in her ear. And then she also said she's tired of talking about stupid SH. Yeah. So am I. Except not really, because that's where the drama's at, and this is the Bachelorette. Luke P almost had a chance there, too, to really kind of settle the dust a little bit. Garrett comes out and apologizes for the way that he was acting, and Luke accepts the apology, says that he appreciates it, and that was his chance to say, you know, I'm sorry, too. No, he just says, I really appreciate it because you ruined my whole night, essentially. Which technically is true, but like Luke, it is possible that Luke apologized and the producers just cut it out for, you know, good stuff. But I don't know. Then Chris has his first real counseling session of the season with Hannah. And his words are always just gold. I don't know how he always stays so like calm and collected, very level-headed. Somebody must be like feeding this to him, either that or he was just straight up born for this role. But anyway, he tells Hannah that the guys are threatened by Luke, which is 100% true. She is really interested in him. They can see it and they're threatened by it. At least, you know, the people that are piping up are threatened about it. Then comes rose ceremony time and she walks out there, just doesn't say a word. That a girl. I feel kind of bad for the guys that aren't really doing anything wrong. It's good that she's expressing her emotions. And so nobody's going to have any questions as to how she's feeling about things. Connor and Tyler get the first 2 roses. Well deserved, boys. And poor Kevin doesn't get a rose. I didn't get to know him enough to really care about whether or not he stayed or goed. Wow. But I just felt bad because he never even got to kiss her. And then I got to be honest, I'm glad Luke got the rose. I mean, I don't want to blame Garrett for all of Luke's shortcomings, but Hannah was giving him a last final chance. And before he even got a chance, Garrett just stifled it. Just threw it in the bucket and tossed it away. But also, did anyone think after Luke accepted his rose and said that he would accept it with his whole heart? I thought he was going to, like, give Hannah his whole heart. Yes, I accept it with my whole heart. Excuse me, that was probably just me that thought that. So unfortunately, that was it for the exciting stuff for the episode. They travel to Latvia. We know that, but that's about it. We see all the guys like sitting at a table. Garrett shows or expresses his regrets for acting like a bozo. And then Hannah and Chris have a very emotional heart-to-heart. I do feel bad for her. She has had to deal with a lot of drama in over like a long period of time. At this point, I feel like we should kind of be through with that. In true, Luke P really kind of is the source of it all. But if Luke P wasn't there, I think there'd be something else that would come up. And Garrett would be showing his true colors in some other way, you know? So then the final half hour of the show is Chris sitting down, talking with Hannah, just recapping the whole season thus far. And it's apparently present day, like she hasn't finished the season yet. So let me back up. First of all, they start by showing a clip of Chris Harrison in front of the mansion. That was a little weird, but I mean, I guess, okay, yeah, whatever. But then he and Hannah are talking inside the mansion. They're supposed to be in Latvia. I know you didn't just fly back to LA so that you could have an interview in the mansion. It was staged AF. I mean, it's evident that they needed a filler because the sequence of events wasn't working out for this episode. They couldn't just, show one day in Latvia and then cut it. They needed something else. So they thought, let's throw in a random interview that nobody's going to care about. I mean, seriously, we had 2 commercial breaks. And both times they came back, they were still sitting at that couch in the mansion, recapping the season. I'm sorry, I'm not always this mad. It's just this show that does it to me. So they waste time just talking about all the drama. And at one point, Chris is like holding back a smile because Hannah's getting all emotional. And he's like,
yes, girl. This is exactly what we need for the ratings.
Keep that emotion coming. Make it seem like you didn't already finish the show. I mean, I could be wrong, but I don't think I am. And the whole conversation just felt like it was past tense. So, because I had that in my mind, I was trying to analyze her statements about the other guys to figure out who goes home and who stays. And I kind of felt like she gets rid of Peter. And then I also, unfortunately, kind of feel like she gets rid of Tyler because she makes some mention that he's wicked hot. It just didn't feel like something you would say about whoever you choose at the end. I don't know. I might have been overanalyzing that. And then she also says that Luke P is the best kisser, which if he's not the one that she picks at the end, that could get her into a lot of trouble. But overall, the whole conversation was useless, except the awkward kiss that she had with Jonathan. That was funny. And the fact that she called Scott Marcus. That was really funny. But the episode ends with our dramatic sneak peek. There were some main takeaways from this. So, number 1, who styled her hair with that fairy bun and the tendrils? Because that was just a very questionable choice. Number 2, it looks like she and Luke make up because they're having a great time together. They've rekindled their chemistry. But then he ruins it again. Something to do with coitus, and there's some potential proposal in there too that has her crying her eyes out. And if someone's coming here to propose, Chris, don't tell her about it. And then also she does naked bungee jumping with Garrett. And if you ask me, that was to tick off Luke. But that's about it for this episode. Not a lot of substance, no dates, just silly drama. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next week.